Here we go with lesson 1-5. Let's begin by completing the warm-up. Our objective for today, learn to add integers. Our essential question, how do I use a number line to add integers? Use a number line to find the sum. Let's look at this from a perspective of starting at 0. To get to -6, we would go left 6 spots. If we are now located at -6, we would add 2, meaning we would come back towards the positive numbers and end up at -4. A helpful hint, to add a positive number, move to the right. To add a negative number, move to the left. Think about it as money. Spending money and gaining money. If you gain money, your numbers increase. If you spend money, your numbers decrease. What if we have two negatives? -3 plus -6. We start at 0, go to -3 on the number line, and if we're adding -6, that means we're decreasing. It's like spending $6. So we would go another 6 into the negatives and end up at -9. So adding two negatives gave us another negative. -3 plus 7. Start at 0, move to -3. Adding a positive means go to the right. So from -3, we go 7 spots to the right and end up at +4. As always, pause if you need more time on any of the slides. Let's fill this example out on our notes. Use a number line to find the sum of -2 plus 5. We start at 0 and we draw a line going to -2. Now we're adding 5. That means that we're going to go 5 spots back to the right. So count out 5 spots to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Puts you at +3. So -2 plus 5 equals 3. Another method you can use is to cancel the plus and minus pairs to add the integers. So here's an example. If we have -8 plus 3, think of it as 8 negative symbols and 3 plus signs. What happens is, to cancel these, think of them as having one of each. So we have a plus and a minus, that would equal 0. A plus and a minus, 0. Plus and a minus, 0. So those pairs cancel. Then we count what we have left. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they are negatives. So that -8 plus 3 equals 5. Go ahead and display this on your notes. This was my favorite method when I first learned how to add integers. A quick note, if the signs are the same for adding integers, it's just like you learned with positive numbers. Example 7 plus 5 equals 12. If it's two negatives, -7 plus -5, you add the numbers and make sure that you keep it negative. So that'd be -12. If the signs are different, you're really doing some subtraction. You find the difference between the two numbers and use the sign of the greater absolute value. So if we're dealing with 7 and 5, whatever sign is with the number 7 will be the sign that goes with the answer. So in the first one, where it's 7 plus -5 equals 2, that would be positive because 7 is positive. And with -7 plus 5 equals -2, it's negative because the 7 is negative. So let's try adding. 1 plus negative 2. If we think of this with our canceling, we have 1 positive, 2 negatives. It would cancel and leave us with 1 negative, giving us an answer of negative 1. Think about negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 positives. And cancel. And we don't have a pair for these, so we are left with negative 3. Canceling works great, but eventually you want to learn how to do it without, because when you work with large numbers, it would take too much time. Here are 2 negatives. So what might that look like if we're trying to cancel? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have negative 2, negative 4. We don't have any positives. So what we do is we count up our total number of negatives, which would be negative 6. Pretty slick. Just to run through a few more examples, 3 plus negative 6. We notice that there's 1 of each symbol, and the 6 is larger, so we'll take that sign for our answer. So our answer will be negative, and the difference between 3 and 6 is 3, so we have an answer of negative 3. Letter B, negative 4 plus 1. They're different signs, and the 4 is the larger number, so we would take the negative sign, and then we subtract 4 minus 1 and get negative 3 there as well. Two negatives means we should be adding them together like normal and get 13, but because they're both negative, it'll be negative 13. We can evaluate as well. Evaluate c plus 4 for c equals negative 8. Recall that c plus 4 is an algebraic expression, and when they give us a value for c, we substitute it in and then solve. So when we replace c, we'll replace it with negative 8. Now we see we have a negative and a positive, so we know we take the sign of the larger number, which is 8, so our answer will be negative, and cancel 8 minus 4 to get negative 4. At this point, feel free to use the number line, to use the counting cross-off method, or if you can just do it in your head and figure out the larger number, go ahead and do that. Substitute d equals negative 3 into d plus 7. So we end up with negative 3 plus 7. If we think about this in a canceling way, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cancel. We are left with 4 positives. Negative 3 plus 7 equals 4. Let's look at an example with some money. Mika opened a new bank account. Find her account balance after the first 4 transactions listed below. Deposits of $200 and $20. Withdrawals of $166 and $38. In case you're unclear, deposits, that's money that you put into the bank, so that's money that you have. Withdrawal means it's money you take out. So you deposit into your account so you have a balance, and then you withdraw money when you need it. So that means if we're depositing $200 and $20, those are positive amounts, and if we're withdrawing, we're subtracting. So we would take out 166 and take out 38. So you can see the negatives are represented in red. To combine, we'd add left to right, so 200 plus 20, and then we could add our negatives together. 200 plus 20 is 220, and then negative 166 plus negative 38, again we add the two numbers, keep it negative. And now we're combining 220 positives with 204 negatives. So if you think about canceling out those 204 negatives, we'll be left with a positive number, and when we subtract, we have 16. That's a good thing because you never want to have negative money in your bank account. That means you owe money. To finish up, the quick write, what tricks will you use to remember how to add integers? Remember some of the ways we talked about where we're using a number line? Adding and canceling with that counting method of the pluses and minuses? Or can you do it in your head by knowing if you're adding or subtracting the integers? If you need additional time to keep writing, please pause it now. Your tasks. Make sure your Cornell notes are filled out completely. Review your notes and complete the summary before class, and come prepared to take a formative lesson quiz on how well you understood the material.